In this video from Real Life Reviews, we're going to take a quick look at the Topeak Hexus X or X multi-tool. And what we're looking at here is a tool that we think does what it says on the box. It's a genuine multi-tool for use for us to take out on the bike. There are those situations, there are huge multi-tools out there that we can use in the workshop, but we often have workshop tools as well. And there are tiny skinny little ones which invariably at some point doesn't have the tool that we want. We believe that we have here in the Hexus X as close to the multi-tool that we wish to take on our bike when we go riding. So what we're looking at when we go riding is that balance between having all the tools we want and not being too heavy and too bulky. And the type of riding we're thinking about is your training rides on your road bike, but also now as we diversify more and more and look to vary our training, mountain biking, gravel riding, where we might be quite a distance away from home or our base and we need to fix something. In addition, what are we going to take in our bike when we do a longer triathlon? Half iron to full iron, the long course type stuff, where a seat post dropping in the first 10 miles of an Ironman, you're going to want to be able to just loosen the bolt a little bit, lift up the seat post, tighten it back to where you were, and just very carefully tighten a little bit further, because cycling another 100 miles or without a seat post up is not what you want to do. Obviously in a sprint, that happens, you're probably just going to pedal it out, and if need be, it's a puncture or something on a sprint, you'll DNF, but on a longer course, you'll want to fix it. So that's the type of size and versatility that we want from our multi-tool. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is the Hexus X is what I would call a bit of a replace or upgrade to the Hexus 2. Now, Topeak themselves may well not actually state that, but they have very similar tools. The 10 is just a bit more uprated, and we'll see. They are basically the same length, they're the same width, they're the same height, and I think they're trying to answer the same question. What are the differences? Well, the first one is weight, and that's really important for some of you out there. The Hexus 2, we weighed it at 167 grams. The Hexus 10, Topeak claims 172 grams. Well, we've weighed it. It's bang on 172. So thank you, Topeak. Very, very honest. And we're looking at a 5 gram difference in weight for a bit of added versatility. So there's a plus. So let's get to the nitty gritty of what this multi-tool contains. Hex bits or wrenches. So basic wrenches, we have 3 of them, 1, 2, 3 on one end, and on the other end again we have another 1, 2, 3. These incorporate our 2mm, 2.5mm, 3mm, 4mm, and there is a second 4mm which we'll come to in a moment, 5mm and 6mm. So that's pretty much got it covered. What about 8mm, I hear you ask? That's often used. Well, no problem with that, because there are 3 bits inside the body, and one end there we have an 8mm that slots on one of the others. So we've got pretty much everything covered in the Hex. What about Torx, I hear you ask? Because Torx are getting more and more popular. Better grip and less susceptible to rounding than Hex. Well, as a basic wrench, we have, turning round, we have on one end, we have a T, get him so you can see him, we have a T30 Torx. Yes, T25 is the most popular. So we go back to the bits that we have inside the body, and we have 2 more Torx bits in there that slot onto the hex keys. And there we have T15 and T25. So we've got hex and Torx pretty well covered. What else on the basic wrenches? Because there's 4 on either side. Well, we have a classic #2 Phillips screwdriver. Less and less used, but we still have bikes with Phillips on, and as long as the bolts are in good condition, the heads are in good condition, that's fine. What this tool doesn't have is a flat head. And I must admit, I do like a small flathead which can get you out of trouble with slightly rounded Phillips heads as well. Anyway, that's just one small slight con as opposed to pro. Now, the metal parts of this multi-tool are made from chrome vanadium steel. The plastic parts are what Topeak describe as being engineering grade plastic, and in engineering grade plastic we have on, just fold those in, we have on the outside 2 tyre levers. So one, which I'm just going to place to one side, and on the other side #2. Crucial if you want to change a tyre. Now, if I look at these tyre levers, one of them has a nice hook on it at the top, so that's the one that you can hook and open your tyre, hook it onto a spoke so it stays in position, and then use the other tyre lever to loosen off the tyre. However, this tyre lever also has, if we look on the very inside, so if I get close to the camera, and in the middle there is a little knobble that's designed as an air release little tool for your valve. Okay, it just saves you, if you, depending which valve you've got, sticking your thumb in or finding a little twig to press the top of the valve. If you've got a Presta, it's not such a problem. At the top, to the sides, one side and the other side, we have a couple of spoke keys. The most common sizes, 14G and 15G. Pretty useful if you get a spoke coming loose on a ride. Last thing that we want. The second tyre lever has a couple of its own little extra bits on it. So at the very top we have a Presta valve tool. Should you want to replace your sealant on a ride, something like that, you can undo the core of your Presta valve. It's also got the second 4mm hex on it. Now this becomes really, really useful. 2 big uses for this one. The first one is we have on our tool a chain tool, and the chain tool on the Hexus 10 is suitable all the way up to 12 speed. So that's single and multi speed chains, and up to 12 speed. The one exception, which is fairly common, is it doesn't satisfy the Campag 11 speed hollow pin chains, but otherwise it will pretty much cover anything you've got. Bit of care. So how do we tighten and how do we break the pins or fit a pin? Well, it's a 4mm hex in the end of the chain tool. There's your 4mm hex. It slots in and you turn and use the chain tool. The other is a neat little feature of this tool, although I wouldn't recommend playing around with it too much, is it has a Torx 25 tightener on both ends of the tool, so you can adjust and tighten the tool as you wish. Torx 25 bit, obviously no point it fitting on one of the hex tools on the tool. The Torx 25 bit fits on the 4mm, so therefore you can use it on the handle. Moving back to the bits that are inside the body of the tool, the easiest way to get these out, because they fit really snug, which is great because if you take the tyre lever off, you're not going to just lose them onto the ground. So the easiest way is to take your tyre lever, get the flat end, put it behind the bit, and then with your fingers over the tools, over the bits themselves, so you don't pop them off miles, carefully just push forwards and then take the bit off. That's the T25. He fits nice and neatly on the 4mm, and then if I want to tighten or loosen my tool, there he is, and I can do so. Of course, now we need to be really careful that we put this bit back and don't put him down in the grass on the verge wherever we've got our little mechanical issue, and pop him in nice and tight. Moving back to our chain tool, Another really natty little feature here, and it was also on the Hexus 2, so it's not bang on original, but really, really useful, is, if you can see, we have a loop just coming over the top, and that is a little chain hook. And again, it fits really snug. So easiest to get off carefully with a tyre lever, and simply tyre lever on it and pull gently using my thumb so I don't pop it away. And there we have a chain hook. Really useful holding your chain when you're de-pinning or re-pinning your chain. Excellent. There we have it then. A really neat compact multi-tool that at Real Life Reviews we think is at the moment the best on the market for covering every eventuality on the road or off-road and taking it with you. It's got all the tools you will need except possibly a flathead screwdriver, but you could argue you can get away without that. Price-wise, again, we think this is fantastic value. Its recommended retail is around about the low £20 sterling, so £21, that sort of thing. But have a little look around and you can get it pretty cheap, down to about £15.30. And the best place we've seen it is at Wiggle, and in the description down below we have a link to Wiggle, so you can buy it through our link. Buying it through our link has the added advantage that Real Life Reviews just gets a tiny amount of what you spend, and that helps keep the channel going. In addition to that, in a moment there'll be a link to our website, and on our website we have further links to affiliates that also stock and sell this multi-tool. And by doing so, very often you get some really good deals by going through those links rather than just searching on the web. So, if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share. If you haven't yet subscribed, then click on the round picture down there. Link to the website is just down there. If you want to look at the video for a comparison of the Hexus 2, well, that's just up there. And how-to video, well, check and align your rear derailleur hanger. Maybe use your multi-tool there. Many thanks for watching.